We are going to live.
Mm.
Yeah, you can't see it, but
yeah. And a very good afternoon to everyone, or in fact, evening.
all right, we're on live.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon,
Mm.
good evening to everybody. Welcome to Tech Talk, where is tempat yang kita akan mengenali tentang teknologi human resources, pembangunan sumber manusia. Dan hari ini, and today we are very happy to be able to have a distinguished guest with us. Want to introduce Queen, right? She's a queen to us, and she's coming from people science, right? So, a person who have extensive experience, was trained as a psychologist, have moved from the practice, right, to be a consultant, right? And today we're going to quickly go through with you a Malaysian technology company, a consulting company that interests another big company to invest, DG, as well as where Petronas Tan Sri Wan Mokhtar, right, was also interested and be one of their hero as well. So maybe quickly, just to introduce the company and Queen. I'm curious, Queen, why people science, and why is science, that way? How
being spelled that way.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. First of all, a very good day to everyone. Yeah, I hope everyone is keeping well. And to this part of the world, it's late afternoon. I hope you grab a cup of coffee or tea to join us for this 30-minute quick chat. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Queen. Why people science? People science, we're a human capital consulting firm. Right, so why do our company name spelled as the way science? If you notice here, you break it down, science, it's psychology plus science. So that's where we want to. A lot of time people think that psychology is very fluffy, art-based. Yeah, there is no objectivity to it. But this is a wrong concept here. We wanted to actually incorporate both psychology and science together, art and science together, to bring you objective way of understanding human. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Right. Thanks for that. And I understand that your company claim that at foremost is psychology or science, right? And the technology are enabler, right? So you have companies that uses technology first, and then they try to build, the science behind it.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain a bit more here?
Sure. So from people science perspective, it is very important to first be able to understand human and the science behind it, the psychology and science behind it. That's where we have a team of accumulated 40 years of experience in human capital consulting firm. And that's where, with that kind of experience that we have, we're trying to, of course, riding on a bandwagon to digitalize things for our clients, for our end users, to make things more effective. But fundamentally, it's the science part. Yeah, right. So that's from our perspective. Yeah, so we are trying to transform from HR, the more conventional way of running talent matters, understanding talent, to digitalize them.
Yeah, thanks. And you use the word talent, right? So, talent attraction and talent development post COVID, or post going to another phase of COVID, right? So there's a lot of HR that are looking for talent acquisition resources to actually people. But here you have a digitized portal, right? That marries both together, give more access, convenience to people, right? I like to see that, if you don't mind, right?
Sure. Yeah. So before I bring it out to share with everyone. Of course, I'm excited to share that with you. It's a new baby of ours. Just to also give a little bit of context. From people science perspective, given that we have accumulated years of experience in understanding talent, doing talent assessment using different psychometric tools. So we put emphasis on few areas over here. To understand their cognitive ability, their behavior, their mental toughness, competency, etc. And that's how then we have this in mind. Instead of like in the past running more manually, where our client often call us SOS, expecting an immediate help from us, even during late evenings, trying to hope for magic to happen. That's where, we very quickly look into like, hey, how can we digitalize it? Give clients the magic wand to make it more effective and efficient. So that's where this is where we have our new platform called Oz. Let me share that with you, how it looks like over here. Yeah. So I might need like Joseph to allow me to screen share. Right.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yes.
I need to give
So while we set up, just a quick introduction, Oz is actually a digital talent platform of people science. We're looking into Oz envision an empowered future. So what we're looking is to actually cover from hiring to retiring process. All right, from talent acquisitions, they talk about onboarding, talent management, talent departure, everything managed conveniently under one single roof here.
you should
Right.
share now.
Yep. Yes.
And
There we
for those who are
go.
listening to us, you can actually ask questions right now.
Yeah.
If you have, feel free, right? It's an open conversation. We are live.
Yeah. Feel free to let me know. Right. So if you see over here on the screen here, this is how it looks like. We have put it up very straightforward, very clearly. This is on talent acquisitions. Yeah. Taking this opportunity to kind of briefly walk you through what you'll be able to see here. So we do include like a very structured process. Number one, the whole platform emphasize on centralized, where you can manage different informations and the processes all in one single platform. That's why we'll also look into like, helping you to overcome the challenge where if you have to look for information from candidates, some of the information CV in your inbox, some in LinkedIn that you receive some information, or through WhatsApp you receive other candidates information, everything to be centralized in this platform. So very straightforward. You will be able to set up the job role library if you are planning to hire, right? If you have an open vacancy, and subsequently, depending on the role that you're hiring, you are able to actually select the different type of psychometric assessments via our platform. Let me just give you a quick view over here. So you can see that over here, our assessment actually cover different perspectives. People science, our consultants, all of us are being known as the organizational doctors to clients, to corporate. So this is where, we allow you access to different assessments. These are all popular assessments by well-known test publishers in the market. And of course, over here, you will be able to see there's a combination of traditional assessment, all right, the questionnaire based, and we also have gamified assessment. Yeah. So we have game-based gamified assessments that look into creating user engagement while you are testing them. And I have a series of game-based assessment that's actually developed by international chess master as well, right? So through here, we talk about psychology and science, riding on technology. So what we have over here and the science bit is that, not only for you to select assessment of your choice, we have also created these particular options for you to define benchmark. Yeah. So over here, you can drag and drop depending on benchmark that you want. And we have the AI, the unique algorithm at the back end of the system to help you to do computation. Yeah. So you don't need to worry about doing all this manual process and trying to see which candidate has a better fit. Yeah. Right. And probably you will be also asking like, hey, how do I filter my candidates? So we do give you the options to actually, set up your hiring roadmap, the hiring journey according to your preference. And of course, your internal processes. You can decide how many stages you want it to happen. And all this to final stage to publish your job advert. Coming back to the dashboard, that's where to show you, this is where you are able to screen candidate in a very easy manner. So over here, as you can see, I wanted to highlight the convenience part of here. We have made things very easy for employer, for recruiter. So what you need to do is just drag and drop candidates according to your liking. Don't need to even call candidates one by one to notify them of their progress. Yeah. So some of the overview here to share with everyone.
There's a lot of visual. So what I really like about this, can you connect to the tools that people science have in terms of assessment? And I remember there's even assessment. I mean, you can have a battery or test, right? In some sense, depending on the culture, strength, and there's also the aspect of what is their prior experiences. Maybe if you can just take one example and share it first. Yeah.
In terms of which area to be assessed, etc. Right? Sure. I suppose like what I can do, instead of showing you the list of assessments over there, I will do another sharing on how it looks like, just to give the audience a glimpse of the assessments, right? Yeah. So over here, if you can view my new share screen, some of you. So as you can see here, right, this is where, if you look at like the different assessment that we have over here, so you can see that there's a combination of traditional and game-based, like I mentioned. So if you refer to the top right-hand corner, this interesting image over here with a penguin and a chest. So this is where we measure competency. So you'll be asking, like, what type of competency are we measuring? This is a game-based skills assessment. We look into their cognitive thinking skill. So we have, that is where we use psychology, technology, science together. We have over here international chess master to design the set of like patterns, the kind of strategic move in the entire assessment. We are in the end able to actually look into a candidate's analytical ability, their quick thinking, in terms of like how they perform under pressure, strategic thinking, etc. So that helps you to tackle competency perspective. And this sort of assessment, you would be able to use it for hiring purposes, at the same time, talent identification and leadership development. So basically, one stone kill many birds.
This is really powerful. And then you said you use credible candidate to help you design this. Of course, the back of our mind is how valid are these outcome, right? Let's say in terms of strategy, right? So if people go through it, is how sure we are as a recruiter that whatever the outcome is are quite close to the individual's ability.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. That's a very fair question when it comes to psychometric assessments and its applications. So number one, I would say that many of our assessments that we pick, either they are being validated, recognized by the British Psychological Society, BPS, or each of the assessment that we review would actually entail studies that look into the reliability and validity of the questionnaire. And thirdly, for this particular game-based skills assessment, it is also being used in one of the countries, the recruitment of their army candidates. So we would assure our test users that these are validated tools for you to apply.
Thank you. And can we talk about gamification? Because it's actually one of the things that people are quite interested about, right? So there's a digital side, there's also a non-digital. I understand people science are actually thinking about how do we move, right, to enable gamification more, right? You showed an example, right, into more than just the talent work, right? What's the company thinking here?
All right. So from gamification perspective, ultimately, if you hear, yes, this is a buzzword nowadays. So gamification, when we look into it, essentially, the ultimate aim is user engagement. All right. So we are looking into injecting game elements into non-game context. As boring as a town hall sessions, we would be able to apply game thinking mechanism together, leveraging on some sort of like technology. It could be platform, it could be apps, and to gamify the event or gamify a process with user in mind. So by creating like, little interesting checkpoints, for them to play, to encourage teamwork, bonding, ultimately to actually apply that. And for assessment perspective, right? So this sort of like game-based, it's where we turn the design of the assessment, from the very boring questionnaire, like how can we make it game-like? as easy as swiping, left, right for a certain answer, rather than reading the text. Yeah. So it creates a few objectives over here, or it addresses a few things over here. Number one, employer branding. All right. Number two, user engagement. Yeah. And lastly, of course, is the fun part as well. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Sounds like they are interested in what People Science are doing, and of course, we would try to find ways to reach out to you. You can click on the link on the YouTube later. We will also list down the address of People Science that you can actually connect directly to. Now, it is. It sounds good, but I am always a bit of skeptic.
Sure.
So
I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah.
I know you do have a lot of good companies that you work with, right? So maybe it's good to pick one without telling their name, maybe the industry, and give us some view, right? What was the challenge that they had? How do you all collaborate, and how is it turning out for that company?
Yeah, sure, for sure. So well, I can share an example of an oil and gas company. So this particular client is looking into like assessing their high potential and also for succession planning purposes. So the challenge over here is, in the past they used the traditional questionnaire, and on top of that, it doesn't seem to actually create that sort of engagement. And to the incumbents, to the identified individuals, it will be, oh gosh, just another assessment, right? And it is boring, taking my time. So what we did is then we have actually introduced the game-based skills assessment, like the top right-hand corner, the mini penguin here you see. Yeah. So we have actually introduced that to them. Surprisingly, they're actually very open. HR team was very open, supported by even the group, managing director, to run these assessments, a combination of questionnaire for behavior assessment plus game-based skills assessment, etc. So consolidating all the different data points over here, we even invited like the C-1 to do this assessment. Yeah. So we were able to pull all these informations and to analyze it for them, how the talent pool looks like. Yeah. So we put up a group overview, analysis of their key talents, and of course, like the potential of their successor. All right, breaking down to different aspects that we analyzed, we assessed them. So we actually presented all the way to the managing director and the board. There seems to be a very good, very structured way to assess these individuals of their gaps. And subsequently, like what's next over here right now, it's about their individual debrief that we did, as well as the subsequent development plans for them. Yeah, and we see like a positive feedback as we speak to the C-1, C-2 to get their feedback. We actually are very glad to receive that positive response from them.
Do you get them as surprised, or they agree that the report actually reflect the individual?
Yeah. So indeed, I would probably say that for big part of the feedback, it does actually align with what they observe about the individuals. Of course, like there are additional highlights about this individual, which we discovered through the assessments as well. Yeah. So there are still some surprises, I must say. Yeah. Fantastic. Something that helped them to discover.
Yeah. So sometimes those are things you don't notice, right?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Just looking at assessment, right? So we're talking about competencies, right? So it's about personalization, right? So is there a way to select what competencies you want to see in a candidate? And OZ Talent Portal would suggest what game, right?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So how I will probably tweak it a little bit. Instead of like you selecting which competency you want to see, you assess like which area you want to assess. So for example, do you want to assess their brain, like the cognitive ability? Do you want to assess like their DNA? Yeah. And with that, we can break it down further to say which job level you want to assess, right? Which candidate, which particular job role you want to assess. We would then propose to you, you want to use the more comprehensive one or the simpler one. Yeah. So yes, we do have a big suite, for you to mix and match depending on what you want to assess, what criteria you want to look at.
And I think it's normally connected to either how the JD is set up, what's important to the company, right?
Yeah,
You
you are
have
right.
a portfolio of skills which you can pick.
Yeah, yes, yeah. We have different options and we have different model of assessments as well. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Fantastic.
Mm.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
There's another good question is about integrity, right? How do we know that the person who answered it
That's a
digitally, right?
that's a $1 million question.
Correct.
Yeah.
That it's not your father, mother, boyfriend, girlfriend, who's the one who did it.
Who
Right.
did the assessments, right? Yeah. Of course, like, typically we would encourage the assessment to be done prior to the interview sessions. Yeah. So subsequently, when the interviewer gets into the sessions, you have the report with you to probe further about the candidates, right? So you would be able to do a validation, we call it. Yeah. So, and some of the assessments that we have, we do have like a simple check, to see like, are this person trying to fake good or fake bad about themselves? Yeah, so that's possible. The other way that as much as we say like these are all online assessment, we can send a link for the candidates to complete it at their own ease. The other way that we help clients to overcome it is actually through online supervised process. Yeah. So we will be able to work out some sort of like arrangement and we can help you to supervise them during the assessment. Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's where technology, it's very important over here. Yeah.
We do have talent assessment centers that does virtually.
Yeah.
Right, to your
Correct.
point that there are
Yeah.
observers, right?
Yes, that's right.
So that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's one or two more questions as I go through the profile of People Science. This has been fantastic, and of course, I won't ask how much it costs, but people can go directly. Now, there's also I think movement, right? That People Science towards the people development. So I'm not sure whether can you do succession planning? Are you able to do development, identification, right? Because sometimes it's a flow, right? You kind
Yeah.
of know here's the weakness and strength, and then
Yeah. And then stop there. Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
performance management probably not, right? But what is People Science thinking here?
Indeed, and that's a very good question. So with all these different assessments that we have over here, I always encourage clients do not just stop here, for hiring or you just stop at after assessing, knowing that's the gap and do nothing. So the output of the assessment is very useful for us to carry on to talk about, let's say, their development plan. So what we often do with the client is that given that if let's say client is not certified in the tool, we would be able to step in to assist you in understanding the profile. All right, conducting debrief with your individuals and subsequently to chart out their individual development plan together. Yeah, we also at many times support clients to do analysis to identify the group strengths and development needs, propose the development agenda for them. Yeah, so that's one way. And of course, on top of this is where tapping on like what Joseph you just asked, right? We have a lot of clients, especially when we conduct debrief sessions, even senior leaders, they actually break down in front of us, seeking for assistance in terms of their psychological well-being. Yeah. And this is where subsequently, like in the past few years, we have then established another two affiliated company. One looks into soft skill training called Talent Intelligence. Yeah. So Talent Intelligence specializes in running training. We want to focus on sales training, leadership training, upskilling, everything about upskilling. Yeah. So we would be able to provide that match relevant training modules to clients. And the other one is that we have a pool of clinical psychologists from UNOYA that looks into supporting clients who needs any psychological well-being assistance. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. So it moves from getting the outcome digital to
Yeah.
the help
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
give people. And I remember talking to a recruiter from Singapore. He said that actually it has the MCO, right? The pandemic has taken quite a toll on people.
Indeed.
Yeah. And so this makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because not all the time that the intervention is just about performance. It's about getting us understanding who we are, where we are, what help we need. Yeah.
Exactly. So you know, to look into, if I can just share this with everyone here, you know, in on top of looking into just, you know, yeah, if I can bring you to here, so you can see this particular chart here. To understand our human being, you know, our talent, we don't just look into like how they can contribute to performance. Actually, mental toughness is one key area over here. Yeah. So to be able to assess from the mental toughness perspective and to predict, like, you know, what sort of challenges they might encounter, yeah, and provide like relevant assistance to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. So,
Uh,
so these 5 things are the tools that people science have in terms of the assessment tools.
yes, we do. We do. Yeah. So again, yeah, based on the different areas that you want to assess, we do have options available.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting because not every companies have this number of tools integrated, especially the one on values. That's a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, correct. So values, yes, in it, like, you know, how do we assess integrity, humility? Yeah. So we do have like different types of assessment available, and on top of that is the bespoke assessment based on company's values.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
And that matters to the company. Good. We
Yes.
have a bit more time. Is there
Mm,
any last statement takeaway, right?
mm,
Really enjoyed, right? Understanding, you know, this is a very proud Malaysian company. Thus, you know, the talent, talent assessment, talent attraction, as well as talent development, right? So proudly Malaysian,
mm,
working
mm,
globally with, you know, all the established, you know, companies that provide
mm,
the science, right,
mm,
together,
mm.
and it's growing. So, you know, do come and check it out, and, you know, understand what it can work for your company and how that integrates to your talent framework. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
anything from you?
Exactly, like what Joseph mentioned, you know, feel free, you know, to get connected with me. You know, look, we'll share our contacts with you, you know, to have a chat, like, about understanding talent. So from our perspective, people science, ultimately we focus a lot on, like, you know, strategic talent management and helping, you know, HR practitioners, you know, our clients to understand the combination of psychology plus science, you know, art and science. And of course, over here at this stage here, you know, with the pandemic, especially how we can help clients to digitalize things and especially focusing on efficiency and effectiveness. Yeah. So say, for example, with our OS platform, ultimately, we want to actually empower clients, provide you with the magic wand for you to manage your talent matters in a very swift manner. Yeah. So that's our
Fantastic.
ultimate aim for many clients, all
Yeah.
of you.
So accessibility, ease of use, convenience, and speed. I think that's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
this integration would help, right? So,
Yeah. Exactly. All in one.
so
Yeah.
thank you so much, Quinn, for your time. We actually ran through, right?
Mm,
Just giving you a snapshot of what the tool is capable of. You know,
mm,
please click on the link if you want to know the company more. Pleasure to talk to you and get acquainted to you, Quinn.
yeah.
Till the
My
next time,
pleasure.
let's
Yeah.
continue to develop, right, technologies and HR, um, you know, development in Asia. Right.
Sure.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
We'll look forward to that. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good evening there. Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you.